This is China's largest freshwater lake. It's called Poyang, and it spans across Jiangxi province. Well, when there's water. Poyang Lake was once a major shipping lane between the Jiangxi and Pearl River deltas, and one of the largest naval battles in history was fought right here. Ancient poets used to write lines about it like, "Endless water burges into the floating cloud. The immense lake looks boundless as it melts into the sky." Now this boundless lake has dwindled down to a swollen river, some narrow streams, and a lot of mud. This December, it has withdrawn to its lowest level in recorded history, leaving what were once islands accessible by foot. People now drive cars down on the dried up lake bed, and kids go down there to play. And places that were once on the lakeside are now on the beach. Boats sit idle, and livestock graze on the overgrown lake bed. Life continues at Poyang, with or without water. Came out to Poyang because it's an environmental catastrophe, and it kind of like symbolizes or represents the whole urbanization, industrialization movement in China. It's the largest lake in the country that is usually, in the wet season, it gets up to about 3,500 to 4,000 square kilometers. That's pretty big. And in the dry season, it dries up to under 200 kilometers. So that's a pretty extreme decrease. And since I started filling up the reservoirs for the Three Gorges Dam, it's up near the top of it's about 500 kilometers away from here, but it connects to the lake. The levels in Poyang Lake have been dropping drastically, like extremely, like extreme decreases in water volume each year during the dry season, and it just keeps getting worse and worse. So I came out here to to see what's going on. I'm trying to look for somebody to talk to, some ex-fishermen or anybody, but there's nobody out here. While the dry season has always had an effect on Poyang Lake, over the past 5 years it has been catastrophic. Severe droughts have plagued Jiangxi province, rains have become less frequent, and Poyang Lake is drier earlier and shrinks more and more every year. This leaves 1 million people in cities, towns, and villages surrounding it with severe water shortages. Walking out on what is sometimes the lake bed. The farmers come in here during the dry season, and they plant crops, and they bring their animals out here. And I'm going to some old beach boats that are up over here a little bit. Fishermen now have no fish to catch, and many of their boats are stuck in the mud until the rains arrive in the spring. Some are now making a living retrieving scrap metal from the now exposed lake bed, while others are living off of meager government subsidies. Though the people around Poyang Lake remain confident that the water will return. "Don't worry," they told me, "next year it won't be like this. The government will take care of it." And there is a plan in the works to prevent as much water from draining out of the lake, which would only send the catastrophe farther downstream. Meanwhile, the local government in Duchang is building a massive new development down on their lakefront. Perhaps in reaction to Poyang drying up, they built up their own little lake and dammed it off from Poyang's parched and barren lake bed just beyond. Nobody I talked to around Poyang seemed overtly worried that their lake is disappearing. They told me that it was normal, that it does this every year, but when I asked them if it was like this when they were young, they all unequivocally said no. Now, whether the drying up of Poyang Lake is caused from global warming, the damming of the Yangtze River, both, or other factors, the fact remains that something big is happening here, and if it doesn't change soon, China's largest freshwater lake may soon lose this distinction.